The next 3 to 4 years will be dominated by one of these phones, either the iPhone 11 or the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 or 10 Plus will be the most dominant smartphone on the market. And we are about to find out who has an advantage in this video. The link for this video will be in the description. So according to CNET, and if you guys don't know anything about CNET, click on the link in the description. They have made great articles, and this article was written by Vanessa Han Orellana, and she does great videos, so check them out. The Galaxy Note 10 versus the upcoming iPhone 11. So the new Galaxy Note 10 phones may have just left the iPhone 11 in the dust. Samsung's latest line and premium phones have a nearly bezel-less and almost notch-free screen, 3D camera sensors on the back, in-screen fingerprint scanner, and 5G connectivity. Now, these were features rumored to take months, if not years, to come to the iPhone, and Samsung is tooting them out now. Apple's next big launch event just weeks away. The iPhone already faces some fierce competition from its biggest rival. And though we can't predict the future, here's how the two stacked up based on the most plausible rumors we've heard so far about the 2019 iPhone lineup. Now, if you click on the link in the description, you could see this video where she actually is talking about the same thing that I'm reading. All right, we'll start with the design. For the first time ever, Samsung is offering two different sizes of the Note. As we noticed, 6.3-inch Note and the 6.8 Note 10 Plus. Both have an edge-to-edge AMOLED display that spans nearly the entire front of the phone. And as we know, they all come in 4 different colors: the white, black, glow, and blue. And also there's a pink available in the UK. Going to the iPhone is rumored to have the same design as its predecessors, which includes 3 screen options, 2 phones with 5.8 and 6.5 inch OLED displays, and a 6.1 inch version with an LCD display. The bezels are thicker than those of the Note, and the notch is larger too. Apple is rumored to be eventually shrinking the size of the notch or removing it altogether. That's not speculated to happen until at least 2020. The 2019 iPhones are expected to have glass backs and come in silver, space gray, or gold like the XS and XS Max. Based on some leaks, there might be a new lilac and green option for the next XR. So, let's talk about the features. A Magic Stylus and 5G on the Note. The Note and the iPhone use different forms of biometric identification for user authentication. The Note 10 and Note 10 Plus have the fingerprint sensor embedded in the screen, and the iPhone uses Face ID and facial recognition. So you also have the option to use your face to unlock the Note, but it only uses the traditional selfie camera and isn't as secure as Apple's version. Now, the other big difference between the Note and iPhone is the stylus. The Note 10 phones come with the S Pen, which can be used for note-taking, remote camera activation, gesture controls, and other features. Based on some rumors, there's a slight possibility that the next iPhone will be compatible with the Apple Pencil. Apple stylus, but the pencil would likely be sold separately for about $100. This is also a copycat move that shows Apple cannot be innovative or creative anymore by just duplicating stuff that Samsung already has originally invented. If you're still rocking a pair of wired earphones, neither one of these phones will work. As we talked about earlier, the Note 10 got rid of the headphone jack, and of course the iPhone 6S was the last iPhone to include a headphone jack. So unless you use that dongle, you could buy separately. The prices range. Let's talk about the cameras. So are 4 cameras better than 3? The camera is arguably one of the most controversial features on the iPhone 11 because of the massive bump. The phone is anticipated to have a 3-camera array. Let's say wide-angle telephoto and a new ultra-wide-angle lens, enclosed in a large square that protrudes from the back of the phone. Apple will likely keep a similar setup as the current 7-megapixel true depth camera on the front of the phone. The Note 10 has triple rear cameras too, but the lenses are stacked vertically. It has a 16-megapixel wide-angle lens with dual aperture that adapts to different lighting conditions, a 12-megapixel telephoto, and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide angle on the front is a standard non-depth sensing 10 megapixel camera. The Note 10 Plus also includes a new time-of-flight depth sensing camera on the back for 3D scanning and a new AR doodle feature. The iPhone is rumored to have a depth sensing camera on its back, but not until 2020. Wow. Both phones can take portraits with a blurred background effect, but the Note can also do this with a video. We'll have to wait and see if Apple rolls out portrait mode video on the iPhone 11 as well, which will be welcome considering the iPhone's superior video quality in previous phones, and they both have native phone and video editing tools in the camera app once iOS 13 rolls out for the phone. Specs and camera bumps aside, there's still a lot Apple could do with software to improve image quality, so we'll have to wait and test both phones to determine a winner. Now, the Android Pie versus iOS 13. We're not expecting many surprises when it comes to software. Apple has already given a preview of the new features to expect in the next iPhone with iOS 13, like dark mode, video editing. The Note 10 has the latest flavor of Pie with Samsung's own UI. A system-wide dark mode is set to arrive with the update to Android Q. The giving to the Pixel phones will be the first to debut with the final version of Android Q out the box. It's probably that the Note won't get updated to the OS until sometime next year. The Note lets you choose between Bixby or Google Assistants as your assistants. Apple will stick with Siri, so you can download Google Assistants for your iPhone. Neither one is perfect at this point, but Google Assistants might be the strongest contender. Performance and connectivity. Let's talk about this. It's possible to compare performance before we get our hands on both of these phones and run some speed tests, so we'll have to wait and see how this category pans out. The only thing we know for certain is that the Note 10 is equipped with an octa-core Snapdragon 855 processor or Exynos 9825 processor, and some markets in 8GB of RAM, while the Note 10 Plus has 12GB of RAM. The iPhone is expected to have Apple's new A13 chip, which no one ever knows what Apple has under the hood. The Note 10 also has a 5G model that's available first on Verizon for $1,300. Can you believe that price? iPhone isn't expected to get 5G connectivity until 2020. Battery life and charging. Early rumors suggested that the 2019 iPhones might switch to USB-C like last year's iPad Pros, but as of now, the iPhone 11 is expected to stick to Apple's Lightning port. But still up in the air is whether or not Apple will finally include the fast-charging USB-C Lightning cable with its new phones. So, both will have wireless charging, but the Note 10 has wireless power share like the S10 before it, which directly powers other devices and accessories. Reverse wireless charging on the iPhone 11 is only hearsay at this point. Let's talk about the price, which is the most important thing to people. The regular Note 10 256 gigabytes costs $949 in the US, and the Note 10 Plus 256 gigabytes starts at $1,099. It also includes an SD card slot, which makes it another plus. Apple is expected to keep its current pricing tier, although storage options may vary. That would make the XS sequel $1,000. XS Max sequel would start at $1,099, and the future 11R would likely stay the same at $749. None of them are expected to have expandable storage. So you could see there, the smallest one would be the cheapest from the biggest to the most expensive. So the 3 new iPhone models are coming next month, rumor has it, and those will be the prices. And mentioned above is the iPhone XS 64GB Space Gray. Now, as we all know, Samsung is ahead of Apple as far as technology, and we're talking maybe a year ahead. I still love Apple. I think the iPhone is probably the greatest smartphone ever thought of. I'll give it that. But as far as are they getting out of reach or getting boring, or they're stopped being innovative? Yes. So like this video, leave a comment and subscribe.